Uchenna and Rasheem and the pass rushing ability with the defensive front. So we looked to bolster our defensive front right off the bat. I thought we did that by acquiring 2 interior players with Caleb Trimley and Trevor Trout, some edge players that are elite pass rushers in my mind, and Elijah Winston, Malik McLean, and Kanai Mwaga, and interior linebackers Solomon Tuliapupu, Paliie No Tiote, and Raymond Scott. And then, when you look at the DB class that came in, I think these guys are elite and premier at what they do with Talanoa Hufanga, Chase Williams, Elijah Griffin, and Isaac Taylor-Stewart. Very proud of this class. We'll see how they develop. I think all of them are going to represent USC and help us take the next step to championships, and that's our ultimate goal, is national championships here. We came into this signing period really kind of a little bit handcuffed because we knew we weren't going to be able to sign a full class. We knew that we were going to have to deal with the NFL draft and how many guys went out. And I thought we did a really good job, and I credit Eric Ziskin, who runs our personnel department, our recruiting department, and his staff. We sat down and we made some decisions as a staff that said, you know what, we're not going to reach in the first signing period. And we looked at the talent out there. We took 10 kids that we thought were premier and could help us win championships. But then when we looked at the guys that were still available, especially on the West Coast, when you think about today, if we want to compete for national championships on a consistent basis, we're going to have to compete in the month of January. You're going to have to sign a JT Daniels, an Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're going to have to compete for a Devin Williams, an Elijah Griffin, a Solomon, and Isaac Taylor-Stewart. Those are elite players. Those are national players. And for us to get where we want to go, we felt like we needed to go compete today. And I was proud of the way our staff competed, and I'm proud of those kids for finding their fit and knowing how special USC is and how it fits them. 16 of the 18 signees that we signed were right here from the West Coast. I was extremely proud of that. You look at the talent that surrounded the West Coast this year, and it was elite. Being able to sign the highest ranked player from California, Nevada, Oregon, Hawaii, Missouri, as well as the highest ranked junior college player in California. 6 of the top 10 players in the state of California are now Trojans, and we're extremely proud of that. With that, I will take any questions that you have as far as recruiting.
This is the linebacker class. 406 guys, 3 on the edge, 3 in the middle. Why did you guys decide to go after so many targets, and what did you kind of like about the guys that you got?
Yeah, definitely. One of them, I think that when you look at that core, both edge and inside, they're special, both as players, both as students, and as people. But when I think about Malik, I think about his ability to pass rush off the edge, along with Elijah and Kanai. They just showed things that remind us of Porter and remind us of Uchenna, guys that give tackles a hard time with pass rush ability. We saw that with Kanai in camp. We studied both Elijah and Malik extremely hard throughout the season, and they just blew us away with their ability. And then when you talk about interior, to have those 3 kids, to have Paliie and to have Solomon, to have Ray right here, on the West Coast, and knowing that not only did we need them for now, but you look at the future, we're going to lose some kids in a hurry here that have played a long time for us. Cam Smith is a tremendous football player, but getting ready to leave us here in a short time. And as we've seen each and every year at USC, I filed for 10 men as far as junior evaluations go for the NFL, and 4 left. So you have to have a vision of not only your immediate needs for next year, but also 2 years down the line. And that's what we do. We basically look 2 years down the line to make sure that we acquire the things that are going to be needed to stay at a consistent basis of winning championship.
JT Daniels is pretty young. Do you see him coming in here and competing for that starting spot right away?
Yeah, they all will compete. Every freshman, in my mind, will compete. That's what we're about here. I've had the good fortune to be here now going into my ninth season, and I remember when the Adoree Jacksons and the Juju Smiths came on board, the Marquise Lees and the Woodies. I see even guys this year that we needed, Andrew Voorhees and Austin Jackson stepping up for us. You never have a crystal ball with freshmen. They all come in here highly touted, and then you get to see them. You get to see, are they ready for the speed of the game? How fast do they pick up the playbook? It's all going to happen for them because they're talented. They're going to help us and contribute at some point in time. But here, the best player plays. And it doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter how young you are. They pay us to win football games, and they pay us to get the best player out there. So we'll let everybody compete, and the best player will go out there and help us win.
Having a freshman who won't be here for spring ball, that's a quarterback, do you have to come up with maybe a different approach to bringing him on rather than just come in the summer?
Yeah, we do it with all our players. One of the things that you're allowed to do by NCAA rule is, they're going to be FedEx the playbook. A day after signing day, we're allowed to FedEx them the ability to look at a playbook. They're allowed to view cut-ups. Our cut-ups. They're allowed to be at spring practices and watch spring practices. We'll do everything within the rules to be able to push our freshmen ahead. And like I've taught them and told them in the recruiting process, I really want them to come in and not have to learn what to do, but to compete. I've always felt that confusion creates hesitation, and hesitation at this level is not only going to get you beat, it probably gets you hurt. So we challenge our coaches to be able to do everything within the rules to be able to push our freshmen ahead at all positions.
Would you you've seen people use this word about JT, a savant. Is he one of these kids that kind of is?
He's probably smarter than the head coach and the quarterback coach. He is a extremely intelligent gentleman. Been blown away by the way he picks things up as we were going through recruiting and just talking football. He's a gym rat. He's a football guy, and he reminds me of the guys that are here. They're gym rats, and they love to compete, and that's what you love about USC quarterbacks. I've never seen one that's come here that was feared competition or didn't want to be the best of the best, no matter who was here. And JT's one of those guys, and I can't wait to start working with him.
Can you give a couple anecdotes about what the reaction of some of these high school students were when they found out they were going to be playing for SC?
One of the things that I've found, again, the good fortune of being here 9 years, is how great a product that this is and that we get to sell. Our coaches work extremely hard, but it goes twofold. One, it's work ethic. But two, when you talk about this place, it's a 15th academic ranked university in the world, 125 years of tradition with 11 national championships and more NFL draft picks than anywhere else in the country. So that combination of athletics and academics is very unique. And then the Trojan family and what it does for you afterwards. I think West Coast kids get it, and national kids even get it, that the Trojan family and that network is going to take care of you for a long time. And the kids that signed with us today, they get it, that it's not a 4-year experience here. It's a 30, 40, 50-year experience that, when you come to SC, you're coming here for a life experience, not just to go to college.
Clay, how challenging was it just knowing that you could only sign 8 players today with given your numbers, and then also knowing that if you happen to miss, the backup plans might have already signed during the early signing period.
Yeah, you had to be extremely strategic, and I think one of the things that it really comes down to is relationships, and the thing that helps us here is we've had long relationships here. Between myself going into my 9th season, whether it's a T. Martin being here for now going into his 6th year, Clancy Pendergast going into his 3rd year, John Baxter 3rd year. So our coaches have been here. They've developed relationships with these kids, all the way from some of them when they were freshmen coming here from camp. We've known JT, I think, has been coming here from camp since he was in the 7th grade. So those relationships are key because it's one of those things that when you do make those decisions in December and you say, you know what, we're going to sign 10 here, we're probably going to have to get 8 more, and we're going to have to win. We're going to have to go compete and win, but that's what you have to do. I mean, if you want to win a national championship, you've got to have those men that we signed today. Or are you going to look up and you know, as I said, I love our coaches, but Dory Jackson makes us better. Juju Smith makes us better. Sam Darnold makes us better. Those guys we signed today made us better.
When you say that you got the 8 that you really wanted, what's the feeling you have? A sense of relief, excitement?
A little bit of both, to be honest with you. We've been really good thus far with our staff in the way that we've closed. Not to say that we've won every battle, but we've won the majority of them. And I think I credit our guys. I credit our staff. They do a tremendous job of their work ethic, building relationships, and then finishing and doing it the right way. I'm very proud of the job they did today.
Well, you talk about being strategic and bringing in the 18.
Mhm.
Are there some guys on the current roster who, you know, could be back but maybe won't be back in order to fit everybody in?
We have the spaces, Dan. We knew our number going in, and we have those spaces. And when that time comes to give out information on if a young man's going to be here or not, we'll make that time. But we knew going in exactly what we had.
Have you made any decisions on spring ball, when it's going to be? And when?
Yeah, definitely. We're going to start March the 5th, the week of March the 5th. We're going to practice every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. We're going to go for 5 weeks. The only week that will be off will be that we'll go for 1 week, and then that next week is spring break, which is the week of the 12th, and then we'll go 4 weeks straight. The spring game will be on Saturday, April the 14th. So we'll have a great 5-week period and be an important time for us as a team. And I look forward to welcoming the Trojan family. We're going to open it up to our fans and our parents and our families, and make it a celebration of Trojan football for those 15 practices. So we look forward to it.
Do you have a date for the spring game? Do you have a location?
No, I think we're going to end up doing it on campus, to be honest with you. That's what we've talked about, is having it here on campus. Obviously, the construction with the Coliseum, which is going tremendously, is will hinder us maybe from going in the Coliseum. But even if we do it on the track or on a practice field, we're going to stay on campus.
Clay, what did yesterday mean for you with the contract extension and confirmation?
This as I've told Mr. Swan, this is my last job. I would love to do this till I'm 60 and be right here. I know that production is involved with that, but it meant the world to me and my family. I thank President Nikias, Mr. Swan, and the administration for believing in us, supporting us like they have. The one thing I want to give total credit to them. Everything that we've asked for and needed to be successful, they've given us. And from the ability to keep coaches on our staff, and now to say that you've got an extension as your head coach, that we believe in you and the direction you're headed, and where you're going to take us. That speaks volumes to me. It makes you feel good as a coach, and now you got to live up to that. And I look forward to it. Yes.
Yeah, Devin Williams committed today. Can you walk us through what his recruitment was like specifically?
Yeah, it was a fierce battle. I tell you, Devin is a special kid and a special talent, and there's one of those kids that understood exactly what SC is. He understood that the decision was bigger than just the game, and you heard that today when you heard his announcement. He understood what SC means for the long haul. Not only for your 4 years, not only is it going to develop you, to have the opportunity maybe to go on to the NFL, but more importantly, it's for what happens to you after your playing days are over. And he got that. And that's, recruiting is so hard. When you're an 18-year-old, and I've been doing it 24 years, so they get pulled in every direction. And here's a great kid that understood exactly what he wanted, and understood that what USC could mean to him both as a player and as a student, and then as a professional, whether that's on and off the field. And I'm very, very proud of him. One of the more prouder decisions that we had today.
And then just kind of a rules question. Are the players allowed to sit in on meetings? Like, can JT Daniels sit in a meeting?
No, they're not allowed to sit in meetings once they sign a financial aid or NLI. You are allowed to provide them any cut-ups or video that is needed, and then playbook material, and then they're allowed to be out at practice, but they cannot be in meetings.
I think Taylor-Stewart was last guy to announce,
Yes.
he told our Chris Trevino that he didn't tell anybody, he didn't tell you that he was going to pick USC. Did you know, or was it wait until he picked
Isaac is one, a special talent, but also a very special personality. And I've had some. I've had Dory and Juju, and Isaac is right there. And, we were confident that we were in the lead, but you never know until the young man finally tells the world and the papers are in. But I'll tell you this: Isaac was always truthful with us. He always told us exactly where we stood. And he always, as they say, kept it real with us. He didn't play around with us. He said, "Coach, love you. I know what USC is about, and it's going to be hard, not to sign with y'all because I know what it's going to do for me as a player." And he has a special relationship with his dad too, and for his dad to be here and to be able to watch him play, I think is really important for him also. So at the end of the day, I wasn't surprised, but I was glad that we got a really good player and a really good kid.
How important was it to get those two cornerbacks, with some of the injuries you had at that position last year, and Biggie and Jack being upperclassmen?
Yeah, definitely. I think we really needed, not only for next year but for the future, to be able to sign, those. I really say those 4 DBs. I mean, when you talk about Elijah and Isaac and Chase and Talanoa, I mean, those are elite kids at the highest level, and they can come in here and help us. It's one of those things where we looked up and here's that 2-year deal. I mean, there's a chance we lose 6 DBs next year. And so that's a huge number. So we had to bat well today, and thank goodness we did. We had 2 already not only signed but on campus, which is great, in Talanoa and Chase. But then to get 2 premier corners like that was just an unbelievable added bonus.
Last couple of years, you guys have been able to add corner recruits on like the last day. Why do you think that is? What do you guys do about these last 24 hours that allows for that?
I think what I said earlier. I think relationships, and the thing that I think I keep on hearing is, Coach, your staff is genuine. You tell it exactly like it is, whether we want to hear it or not. We know what we're getting, and we know what we're coming into. And I've always believed that you provide a very clear picture of who you are, who your staff is, what your culture is, the guys that are around, and see if it's a fit for the young man. If it is, then come on. And if it's not, I always tell them. And I'll say, hey, you may not hear this from any other recruiter in the world, but if it doesn't fit, don't come. Don't come to USC just because it's USC. Come because it fits you. And I think they appreciate that, and I think that trust and that relationship carries weight. And at least it's helped us, definitely in the last year, had the way we had to close, and then this year again. I think those relationships are key.
Let's do one more.
Clay, having gone through this first dual signing, however we want to refer to it, December and today, what do you know now that'll be helpful going forward?
Well, a couple things that really struck me is, one, it's going to be interesting now that you have the spring availability to have official visits. I think that's going to help a little bit with the timetable of the early signing, especially with those guys that are competing for championships. You're sitting there competing for a Pac-12 championship, and it's the first opportunity also for you to bring in an official visit weekend in December when everybody's kind of done playing games. So it was a little hectic in that December, but I will say the January has been extremely nice. It did provide a clear picture of who was left. It does make it where you better make some correct decisions in December. You better be ahead of the game. You better know that you better put some really good players in the bank and feel pretty good about the ones that are left out there. I think that's the most critical. I'll tell you what also it allowed me to do, which I really enjoyed. I got to get out in the city and do some junior recruiting and visit with coaches. And it's one of the things I miss being an assistant coach is, as a head coach, you don't get to go out in May and do the spring recruiting and watch practices and get a feel for a kid and who he is. And this spring, this January, it felt kind of like spring recruiting. I got to get ahead on the 2019 class and sit down with coaches and basically get their opinion of young men that we're going to be looking at for the next year. So that was nice. We were able to have some juniors up on a weekend that usually is an official visit weekend. We didn't have anything going, so we were able to get some juniors up also, which was an added benefit too. So I definitely think it will get us ahead of the game having those official visits in April.
Okay.
All righty, guys. Thank you very much.